Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, this is 8 across, so we have to make sure it's an even number so we can get a proper point in there. That way it's 2 blocks up in the middle, and that way we can get both the slopes to hook up at the top. And that's what we really want to go for. Is that how the roof is going to work? The roof should still poke out by 1. So, in theory, this is all theory, ladies and gentlemen. In theory, yes, it should work. Let's first just see how far away this is from the corners. So if we make this 10 blocks across, if we get this corner right here, it should be that corner. That's grass, yeah. So 10 blocks across. Right, there we go. And then we do another 10 blocks across from here. So that's 21 blocks across, I think. Just making it easier to see. Right, there we go. Just trying to get a center point. Now we do another 5. And a 5. And that should be our center. Roughly this point right here. Now, do we want it to have a big door? Or, well, I don't think we need a big door. Oh, then again, it would look quite nice with a very large door. Let's go to the door designs first. Now, do we want to have something that's square like this? I think so, just because it's easier to work around. We don't really want something like that because it's, well, not like that. But it looks like we are just going to go for the square door because the arch door is very awkward. If we go to our objects, doors, let's see, I think it's castle gate. No, it's the castle arch gate. Yeah, it's very, very awkward to deal with. So if we go to our castle gate, see, now this is odd, which is very annoying. So it means we're going to have to basically go off by 1 block onto one side. And I think it's going to be this side just because you won't really notice it that much. Because of the way this slopes down, I don't think it's going to be too much of a bother. So if we make sure this slopes by around about here. So this is 4 across, I believe. We just double check that. The doors are 4 across. Yep, the doors are 4 blocks across. So if we make sure we get a door designation right there. This goes 2 blocks in the middle right here, which means 3 and 2. Yep, so it is off. We already knew it's going to be off, and it is going in this direction because this is 2 blocks right here. So that's good. That's what I'm going for right there. So if that's basically where our doorway is going to go, we don't need all of this right here. We'll keep these 2 just for the time being. So there's our doorway. Now, do we want it to be in a little bit more? I think so. We have the door right here. And then the remainder, we'll keep the umber brick there for the time being. That's where the door should go. Then again, I still feel like it should go out by, or pop backwards by 1. Should it though? Yes. We'll go to the umber brick. And we should have a doorway starting off like this. Right, there we are. And then it should poke back like that. So the door's inside the building somewhat. And then the roof sort of goes over the general area like this. Just by 1 block, the roof should be over about that far. And that should look quite nice. The doorway should still be noticeable, at least if there's nothing in the middle right here. At the same time, the doorway is the same blocks across as the path. Which means the path goes all the way down and does eventually connect up to this without destroying the building right here, which is good. So I want to double check that that was even the case before we even started. We can put some statues along here as well, which I think is something I am going to end up doing. Now, as for the roofing, I'm starting to think if maybe the corners should be a different block type and not umber brick. It doesn't look bad. Then again, should we go full timber instead of the timber brick? I don't know. I think timbered brick looks good, and then the second floor can be full timber. Yeah, that's a good compromise. I like that. Right, umber brick again. Now, should we diagonal to connect, or should we just sort of straight up corner it like that? I don't know, because I feel like going across like this. How does that look? What kind of design is that anyway? It's quite interesting, I suppose. I think I would prefer it if we did just sort of go in like that. So if we went in by, like, this is 9. So we're going by 9 because it's not too far away. And then what we should do is go in by another block for another 9. There we go. Should it be another 9 or maybe 2 blocks in? No, I think another 9 is good enough. This is a very large structure by the looks of things. Right, and now it should be 10 blocks across, I feel. from here. So that's 10 blocks across right there. Make sure that lines up. Does line up, okay. And now we basically go in like that. We do the same thing on these corners right here. Now, another thing to make sure is if the actual... What am I trying to say? The table, that's it. See if the table aligns up. So, large table. It doesn't align up. See, that's awkward. We might want to use the medium tables instead, which do line up. So, if we put, like, one right there, and then one right here instead. I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. The large table's always been quite awkward just because of the way it works. It only really wants to cook up to something that's odd. And I don't think I want something odd because then the roof ends up looking a little bit strange and that will be horrible. So we don't want to do that. We're going to go back to our construction. Walls, oh no, pale brick. Could put pale brick around the inside maybe. We'll see. Right, anyway. The tower is also something to consider. I think the main tower should be inside the structure just a little bit, and around about 10 blocks by 10 blocks like this. So this is where the main not very large tower, then again it's so wide you would think it was a bit large. That's the problem. We can't make it too thick. Okay, if we just get this final bit connected just to see what it ends up looking like, we will see that it... We just double check that. So that's 12 blocks across. Yeah, this one's 12 blocks across. Just seeing if everything's lining up properly. This bit goes into there. This bit goes into there. Okay, that's good. So this is what we have right here. How does that look? I think its final design should look quite nice. What I'm probably going to aim for is this is the... how far up should it be until we get to the final... Well, until we get to the second floor, which will then use the ceramic tiles. The same thing with the roof of this tower, if there's going to be a roof for it, which I think there probably will be. Or at least some sort of roof. Well, there has to be some roof, followed by the general design also being quite large as well. Since we can't go too high, if we just get a little line going across right here, we can't go far enough. But, as you can see, I mean, we don't really want to overshadow the castle. That's the real problem we're going to have right here. So maybe we can't actually go for that second floor design. And instead, what we can do is make these two parts significantly smaller and then make the main structure right here 2 stories high instead. Which might work out. Not 2 stories high, but just a bit higher. Enough height anyway to have a second story with it that's going to work out. I mean, the thing is, this is only going to be an area for people to conduct town meetings, basically. That's the point of the town hall. So it's just space. It's just room for tables. Probably going to be a table there and a table there. Just in case people can book meetings, I suppose. There's going to be some books and stuff all over the place. I guess it's going to be the library at the same time. There you go. It's just a place for town people to meet up. Meet hot, young town people nearby. There we go. That are ready to go. Anyway. The problem with this is the doorway is not going to work out as well. So the doorway is going to have to be a bit disjointed or just open, and that will be it. That's how you get to the main tower. Oh, town halls. Oh, town halls. Right. Is that what we're going for then? Is that the town hall for us? It's big. It wants to be built. But is it too big? We could always go back. That's the problem. It's a rather large build. It'll take a little while to get back to things. It's unique, and I think it's distinctive. I think that's why I'm going to stick with it. Otherwise, it's going to end up looking like a house. So we're going to stick with this build. We're getting rid of this bit, because that's where the doorway goes. So if we just stick it out like this, the doorway's going to go across like that. And the design will continue onwards to its fruition. There we go. Okay. So, corners are going to stay squared off. I think I like that idea. Should the corners... Yeah, this should be quite square. Is there space in the middle right here? Well, this bit won't exist in the inside, so it's going to look like that on the inside. Okay, I need to remember what I did here. It was 10 by 10. There we go. Just double checking. So, yes, that bit won't really appear. Or will it? I suppose it's going to have to. We'll do something. I'm just worried about the tower being a bit too big. That's really it. We might want to make it a little bit smaller just to work around it a little bit more. Is a 10 by 10 tower even what we want to do? We should double check what this tower is on the inside right here. So this tower is 9 by 9, and we had a little bit of trouble making the roof right here. So maybe that's because it was 9 by 9 and not 10 by 10. So maybe keeping it as a 10 by 10 is just what we're going to have to do. 10 by 10. How can we make a clock tower of a 10 by 10? Is that going to work out? 6 across, or 4 across and then 6 across, upwards a little bit. Okay, wait, we can't do 5 across because that will be uneven. So we got the 4 across right here. If we go up by another 6, we get rid of that. And then we have the same thing up here. Alright, there we go. Now, we don't really have a middle. That's the problem. So the clock tower's not going to... Well, it's going to have a middle. It's just going to be 2 blocks wide, the middle. That's the real problem. I suppose if we have one block be the other hand, the other block on the other side could be the other hand. That makes sense. And that will be our tower. Of course, I don't think we're going to put hands in. Otherwise, it's... Well, we might. Or I'll leave it until later on and see what people think. But that's sort of the general clock width right there. 4 on the bottom, 4 on the bottom, 5 on the sides. And that does look quite good. Not fully symmetrical, though, which isn't great. But better than nothing. We need to get rid of this before we have troubles. Come on. There we go. Okay, we'll get rid of these now, because we don't need them. Okay, I'm really hoping this works out. I'm going to take another drink. Anyway. Right, so this is just meant to look good on the outside. Not really meant to look like anything on the inside. This is just going to be completely sort of blocked off, really. But for now, I'm going to keep it like this. So now we want to get the general design done. And we're going to follow similar designs to what we've been doing right here. So it's 4 blocks up, and then the roof is going to start. So we want to get these corners done first. So 4 blocks up. Is that mithril? That's iron, okay. 4 blocks, and I think we want to get every corner. So there we go. And we want to get this corner as well. I'm really glad I put the the music in post, just so those silent moments aren't completely silent. You still hear some lovely music, because for me, it's dead silence. As I keep saying. Alright, there we go. We're going to get this done first. So we're just going to get them to build all around there. Apparently they're having a few problems, probably because all the builds came in all of a sudden. Alright, we're going to move the Fernet, beautiful Fernet, over to the wolves over here. Forgot they were called for some reason. Always for some reason. I feel like I say that a lot as well. Blech, stop saying things. Just stop talking, Innkeeper, you utter rubbish person. That's the best thing I could really come up with then. You absolute toaster. There we go. I called myself a toaster. I feel sad now. Why could you say that to me, Innkeeper? Why? Alright, I need to take another drink. I'm feeling dehydrated all of a sudden. Going over the hill. I did just talk non-stop just then, so more chilling out to be done. Alright, there we go. I didn't talk too much about my like of the sort of 30 minutes taking a break kind of format, more episode-based stuff. I do quite like it. It's nice. It does give you a break, which is the main point. This also comes with some more... What am I trying to say? It's some nicer points being that you could make a few edits in between episodes as well. A little bit easier than me just saying, okay, be right back, and then it's the next episode. It just feels disjointed. Another thing as well is that it doesn't feel disjointed at all. It feels connected, and there's actual transition going on, which is very nice to see. It means we can focus on one specific thing, one episode, instead of just all the episodes, which means it's easier. I can think before I start the episode as well. And even though I don't really have the time to make one episode, wait till it's uploaded, and then start to record after I've read the comments, I just don't have time for that. But it does mean that I'll still be recording basically most of the episodes in the one day, because that's just how my schedule works. But it means I can also, if I've done with maybe 2 videos, I can instead then record 1 episode of another series as well if I feel like doing that instead. And that still works out. As long as you get sort of the allocated amount of videos required in the day done, then that is fine, really. Which is quite nice. However, I can't really transition over from that with Timber and Stone, just because the whole series has basically not been that, and transitioning over to something different, I think, would probably annoy the viewers that quite prefer the format that it's currently in, otherwise they won't be sticking around. Since I do believe I think there's probably different viewer bases that prefer one over the other. I think there's not really too much of a difference, other than it's just more beneficial for me, really, other than, I mean, recording 1 hour and 30 minutes, just non-stop talking. It does end up, you do end up slightly fatigued after it all. Wow, they got that done fairly quickly. Or very quickly, not fairly quickly. So how does that look? What are we feeling right now? I mean, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it now that I'm looking at it. We need to now get the... Oh, you know what? We missed the timber around here as well. So, Umber even. Is Umber going to be here instead? I think the doorway should be around about there, actually. I was thinking the door should go there, but... Now that I'm looking at it... Should it go in by 1? You know what? I think it still can go in by 1 just because it gives more space for decoration on the outside. So we are definitely going to have it go in by 1. Tell you what, we're going to do this. There we go. So the actual doorway can be put in. Or at least it should be able to be put in. So if we just go over to our construction and objects. Decor. Let's see. Where am I going? Doors. I'm hovering over it like, what am I looking for? Alright, there we go. Looking good. Right, now let's go to the timbered brick. And now all of this just ends up being timbered brick. Do we keep this bit timbered brick? I suppose we do. Maybe upwards from there we might keep it as a different block, but for the time being we will just work with that. Can they get all the way up there? I don't think they can. They're gonna have a few problems with getting all of this done. We're just gonna get all the walls done on the main building first before we start to build the tower. Because I still don't know if making the tower 10 blocks wide is a good idea. Alright, so we'll get that done. Hopefully they don't use up too much resources. At the same time, if we pause the game, what we need to do, because they won't be able to reach that little bit at the top right there, we need to also just put some scaffolding around the entire thing. Do we want to make 2 wide scaffolding around it like this? I have found doing scaffolding in that sort of way is a lot easier. We're going to eventually need to do something like that with scaffolding, so maybe we will do that. If we go 2 blocks up, if we go 2 blocks up like this, and we get these corners done, but instead all the corners can be 2 blocks wide and completely filled with scaffolding. And they're probably going to have a few instances where they can't get around one another. I'm trying to make it as perfect as I possibly can. The only problem with having scaffolding all around the build is you can't really see what you're doing. So I suppose that is the one downside. But as long as they can get everywhere, and they have to build the roofs around these areas anyway, so I'll probably keep the scaffolding around here, make multiple ways for them to get up and down as well, otherwise they're going to end up getting properly stuck. That is correct. Correctus. Alright, there we go. We'll do the same thing around here. Going to be using up a decent amount of wood for this, but they pretty much build the scaffolding fairly quickly, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. Alright, there we go. Do the same thing around here, and we will make another way for them to get up and down along this bit. Hopefully, that works out. So, however, now we have to continue on our journey with Finette. Wherever the hell she's gone. I think she's chilling out now. Finette? Oh, you're already all the way over there. Okay. So, I think there are still a few wolves hanging around. We killed a few of them, but there's got to be some more. No? We could go and kill that wolf rider. There's no other wolves. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go see how the trees are doing over here. So some of them have grown. We still have a few over here to wait until they grow. I prefer to sort of chop them all down at roughly the same time. So it looks quite nice with all the trees scattered around it. Although maybe, is it a bit overkill? I don't think it's overkill. I think it's quite nice. It does help it make it look a little bit more, I don't know, filled up. Otherwise it's going to look flat and empty. I mean, there's probably a few too many trees around here, though. We might want to get rid of one of them. This bit as well just seems quite... There's nothing going on. We might want to deal with that. Let's click these just to get rid of them. Alright, there we go. I think they're focusing more on getting the scaffolding done than anything else. At least we can see what it looks like on the inside. There we go. It's the first time I've really just gone insane with scaffolding. We have enough wood, though, so I'm not worrying about that too much. Of course, we can keep making wood, and I think we should. So we'll just make 1,000 more wood. Followed by making more stone as well, or more bricks. I think mostly just to keep the stonemasons and carpenters busy. At the moment, they're not doing too much. We've got 2 miners chilling out as well. We could just get them to mine out this little bit. Or they could mine out this road to get that hooked up. That might be a good idea. We won't get the gate in just yet, because I think they have trouble going through it otherwise. Should really have some resources on the inside now that I think about it. If we go to our objects, storage, let's see, masonry. If we get a stockpile of 1 right there, 1 right there, 1 right here, 1 right there. There we go. That should look quite nice. Followed by wood as well. If we get a timber pile just next to all of these, it means they don't have to travel for miles. At the same time, food is something that's going to make them move around quite a bit. So if we get a few meal boxes nearby, they just pick up a carrot while they're working and just eat that while they walk to their work. I mean, there's food over there, I suppose, so it doesn't really matter that much. Okay. Excuse me. So that's the inside right there. Still can't really gauge its look at the moment. And I've also just realized that the way the scaffolding is built is going to cause a few problems with the roofing as well on these 2 blocks. Okay. That's it's caused well, it's going to cause a few problems now that I think about it. Is it though? I don't know though. That's the thing. It's still going to poke out by 1, but it's just going to go on the scaffolding, and they could still go up and around the roof anyway, so maybe not. I think I'm just over-exaggerating there. Before we even test that, we also want to make sure that the roof pops out by 1 block extra, because I think that's definitely going to look quite nice. So if we... that's a good point. How's that going to look? I mean, nice, hopefully. It should look fairly good. So if we go to our construction walls, we want to... Do we want to keep using the timbered brick on these corners for where the roof connects up? Basically, this is the roof right here. If we... Should get to about that high. Right, there we go. So this is the roof. Lots of clicking going on. How high is that? Is that good? Is that a good height? It feels quite fat. I'm not sure if anyone else is getting that feeling. A bit out of place, perhaps? Because now the roof needs to start here to go over that wood. Yeah, I don't think that's right there. Right, if we get rid of that. I guess maybe we should just stick to just doing this instead. If we go up by 1 at that point, go up by 2 there. Right, there we go. And get rid of all that. And that's just how it's going to go, really. Excuse me. It's still going to stick out by 1. So if we now go over to here, construction, walls, we'll just do it on one side first before we screw around a little bit too much. Now, we did say we're going to be using a mix of roof types. So the first roof type being these corners right here, we are going to be using the normal wooden roof. So if we, I'm still stuck on where I'm going with roofing, wood tiles. If we use the wood tiles, Now this does end up getting in the way here, so we're going to have to change where the exit or the entrance is for the scaffolding. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. I was trying to go for my Alt key, but I ended up hitting the Windows key and then Tab. So it just booted me out of the game. Right, anyway. Let's continue onwards with our fantastic journey right here. Oh, I mean shift. I clicked shift, so it booped. Anyway, it booped, apparently. Right, let's keep the game moving. Construction, roofing, wood. We really would like it to get those done so we can see what this looks like eventually. So we'll go along by about here. Should we go along by that point? Or... Well, we are going to have a roof on the lower point here as well. Well, once we get rid of the scaffolding, I suppose. Until then, we will just work on this. Okay, can't get that apparently. I'm worried this isn't going to look very interesting. That's what worries me. It's not meant to be a masterpiece all the time. I think that's really it. Don't want to overcomplicate the builds too much, I suppose. Alright, there we go. And make sure to go out by one block here as well. We could do that once all the roofs are done. And we got this bit here as well. I think it's just... I don't know, it should look alright. Just worried. I'm just worried that it's going to look a little bit strange. Right, let's go to the Umber brick. Put one right there. At least they're moving around. That's good. They're accessing every part. As you can see, all the scaffolding around is basically the stay. All the scaffolding's going to stay here. It's just easier for them to get around and up and through the building. Since it's very cheap to make scaffolding, and they place it so quickly, maybe I've just not been using it to its full effectiveness. Right, so here's the final layer right there. And then if we just get the corners done like that. So it's poking out a little bit. So how does that look when it pokes out? Is that a nice look or is that a weird one? What can we do to fix it? It just seems a bit odd. We can't do that. It's a shame we can't make it go upside down. That would look good. What did we do over here? It looks like we just put it on a flat surface. Yeah, that's really what's happened there. So if we... Can we just put a block up around here? Is that just how we're going to work this? Or is that how we're going to do this? We could put some full timber up there instead. That might help out. We go to our full timber. Then that might look nice. Then again, I think the final corner, though, is going to look really strange. We'll see what it looks like, I suppose. It's going to cover up the Umber brick, though. That looks quite nice, actually. Nice little addition to things. We just get everyone to move around a bit here. Get you to move. There we go. Now, they can't get to the top. Well, they should be able to get there. I guess they can't, otherwise they would have done that already. So, let's get the scaffolding. See, this is the only problem with putting scaffolding all over the place. You can't really see the full build. Right, there we go. And then if we put full timber in the top right here, that should look quite nice. Walls, full timber, if we just zoom down. Right, there we go. So full timber right here. Right there. I think what I worry about is how it's going to look once we put the roofs around it. I think I'll get rid of the scaffolding around here just to see what it's going to end up looking like. And then what we'll do is we'll emulate the same design on the other side. In fact, I might want to just make the roof here first so we can see how it looks together. And then I can basically just copy it. Alright, if we just get them to do the last little bits here and there. Looks nice with full timber, though. Alright, so there we go. Now if I just remove all the scaffolding.